Jonathan's Epic Pranks.
I've been looking for you for 8 months. Whenever I should have had a gun in my right hand, I thought of you. Now I find you in exactly the position that suits me. I had lots of time to learn how to shoot with my left.
When you have to shoot, don't talk.
Hi, I'm Jonathan, and this is Jonathan's Epic Food and Movie Review. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon. But if you like this content, don't forget to leave a like, as this is my first time doing this type of cooking movie review stuff. As you know, I'm your chef for today. We're cooking up two things: Korean fried chicken and some white rice. To go with these dishes, we'll explore the movie The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, released on December 29th, 1967. You know what's interesting about a chef? A director. Kind of random, right? Not necessarily. Chefs and directors have casts. Well, directors have casts. Chef, they have ingredients. How do those two things correlate? Well, really, you're starting with nothing, and you're building something into something. I hope that gets through. But realistically, I have chicken. This is somehow, with all of this back here, gonna become Korean fried chicken. Now, think about a director's perspective. You have a story, and you have a whole bunch of actors, and now you need to make a movie. That's kind of crazy to me. But it's the same way that you have a whole bunch of spices and stuff, and you're gonna make a sauce, you're gonna make a fried chicken. That's crazy. But that's how directing and cooking is. The director of The Good and the Bad and the Ugly, Sergio Leone, and we're very similar in the sense that we're not necessarily making a movie or cooking something from our culture. I'm Hispanic making Korean food, and Sergio Leone is an Italian director making a movie about the American West during the Civil War. They don't correlate at all. However, it ends out well. Hoping the same thing happens here. My analogy from earlier about the ingredients and cast being the same still stands, as our chicken right here could be seen as the main character, Blondie, who is played by the most famous actor of American Western movies, Clint Eastwood. Our rice, our side dish, could be seen as the side character, such as Tuco Ramirez, who's played by Ellie Wallach. And the spices, these minuscule, forgettable things, they're our supporting cast. They're the background of the background. They're the people that come in for one scene, die, or they just come in for one scene, say one thing, and our character leaves. You forget about them, but without them, the movie would not be the same. Much like our dish would be bland without all these side characters. I want to call out a few that really push the story. Bill Carson, played by Antoine Cassell. Corporal Wallace, played by Mario Brega. And the father, Pablo Ramirez. And guess what a story is without a villain? It's nothing. However, we have the bad, otherwise known as Angel Eyes, who's played by Lee Van Cleef, and is represented by my dish, tea. Why tea, you may ask? Because tea washes away the flavors of the main dish, much like how the bad would try to get rid of the good. You see? Big brain right here. And the reason why, you may ask, is Korean fried chicken, Western movie. How did those two things correlate? Well, may I tell you one thing. Each one is super important to their culture. When you think of America, what do you think? Cowboys. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is the cowboy movie. They made games based around The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Red Dead Redemptions, both of them. That's based on The Good and Bad and the Ugly. Even the title card, if you see it, is a play off of the good and the bad and the ugly. Korean fried chicken is a staple in Korean food. When you think of Korean street food, it's Korean fried chicken. It's either that or kimchi, but Korean fried chicken is like gaining major fame right now. It's becoming the new staple in American culture as the US tries to further adopt Asian cuisines. Yeah, so how about you join with me in the cooking process as I put you in the chef's hat? Yoink.
Welcome to the Chef's Hat, or My Perspective. As we begin our process of cooking, I would also love to explain the main story that happens throughout the good, the bad, and the ugly. Our main characters are split between 3 people. Very similar to how we're going to split this chicken into very tiny pieces. The good, aka Blondie, the ugly, aka Tuco, and the bad, aka Angel Eyes. We begin with the ugly running around fighting others because he has a $2,000 bounty on his head. However, Blondie saves his life and takes him in. But as he's taking him in, he saves him yet again once Tuco is about to be hanged. But once Blondie realizes that Tuco's bounty is no longer going to be worth over $3,000, he suddenly breaks the deal, saying that he's done saving Tuco's life. He leaves Tuco in the desert, where he has to walk 70 miles to the nearest town with no water. Although this is virtually impossible, Tuco manages to survive and devotes his time to ending Blondie's life. While all this is happening, the bad, aka Angel Eyes, is collecting bounties by killing anyone he gets contracted to kill. But he is also on a quest to find the treasure of a man named Jackson, who goes by the name Bill Carson. This treasure was stolen by Jackson and is worth $200,000, and if we were to convert this into today's money, it would be worth around $5,026,863. As the movie is based during the Civil War, which were the years 1861 to 1865. Back to Tuco and Blondie, Tuco finds Blondie and captures him. This cannon broke through the wall and saved Blondie's life. Tuco then follows Blondie's trail, stopping by a Confederate base to follow Blondie. Tuco takes Blondie from where he was, which ironically Blondie was performing the same trick of collecting bounties yet again. Then Tuco gets his revenge by taking Blondie to another desert, but this time Blondie has to walk 100 miles with no water. As Blondie is about to die, they spot a Confederate wagon that happens to have Bill Carson. Bill Carson explains to both Tuco and Blondie both different information. However, each one correlates to one another. This is where our 3 character stories finally meet. As Tuco tries to keep Blondie alive, he meets his brother, where we get Tuco's tragic yet deserving backstory. They get captured and sent to a military camp where our main characters finally meet, and Tuco loses his info. They do some escaping and blow up a bridge and have a duel in the city where all 3 main characters meet, with a perfect climax song that has ever been in cinematic history, the ecstasy of gold fitting in with what they're fighting for. Add 2.5 cups of flour, 1 cup of baking soda, add 1 tablespoon of MSG, add 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. Although earlier I discussed that cinematography and soundtrack was the sauce, I will mess up this sauce, so the spices being used will correlate more to music and cinematography. Shout out to Italian composer Ennio Morricone and making the ecstasy of gold. And add 2 teaspoons of onion powder. Add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of turmeric, add 1 tablespoon of paprika, and finally mix it all together. Add water to make it a batter, and now finally add your chicken and mix. As we start the process of cooking our chicken, I would like to explain Blondie, our main character, much like our main dish, is a kind-hearted fellow. Although he may kill many people, he does show remorse as when the captain of the Union died in the Battle of the Bridge. He gave him some of his favorite alcohol during his worst times. He also gave hope to this man when he went to go explode that bridge. We also see another time where in the same scene, after the bridge blew up, he helped a dying Confederate man by giving him a cigar. They both smoked until his very last breath. Once your chicken is golden brown, take it out and leave it to dry. The people around Blondie cause him the most trouble, as Tuco tries to kill him many times, and Angel Eyes does the same, except he kept Blondie as a prisoner. Blondie also has some of his own internal problems, as he questions whether to kill Tuco or not. And since he could never justify it, this is a growing battle inside of him, even though it is never explained in the film. We could guess off of facial expression and the many times he threatened to kill Tuco. Now onto our sauce. Although the bad, or Angel Eyes, is the antagonist, he is not in the movie for too long. He shares very little screen time, just like the sauce will, and in the end, he gets messed up, just like how this sauce will. Bill Carson and his money is what causes him most of his problems, and his internal conflicts don't really seem to come out throughout the movie, as he doesn't care. He killed a kid in the first scene that we see him in, without a second thought. As we start our rice cooking process, I'd like to explain the character known as Tuco. As we pour in some olive oil, he's the main side character, and although many argue that he could be the main character, I care to differ and say that Blondie is the main character, as most of the story revolves around him and also the merchandising. Pour in some onions and rice. Now pour in some beef broth and let it simmer until it's done. Tuco is Blondie's sidekick in most of the movie until Blondie switches on him. However, Tuco and Blondie are partners even after they lose their connection in the end. We understand that Blondie cared for Tuco even though they hated each other more and more as the movie progressed. Hey, welcome back. Great execution, you know? The chicken came out well. The rice came out. And we have our tea. Try the rice. It's excellent. Excellent rice. Time the chicken. Crunchy. This is really just pure leaf tea. It's 3 a.m. Couldn't really get to it all. Wow, that was delicious. Okay, love that tea anyways. But just like how I finished executing this, the execution of the good, the bad, and the ugly was impeccable. I gotta tell you, the ending was amazing. Every single scene really felt genuine and nicely created. The cinematography was amazing. The bridge scene was stupendous. Everything that went around the movie, with the music, to the scenes, to the actors. This movie was very well budgeted, and there was so many on-set designs and stuff. It was incredible. Actors such as Clint Eastwood, Ellie Wallach, and Lee Van Cleef did an amazing performance when they were there. And I gotta say, just like my performance with this chicken right here, I gotta say, I give this chicken a 4.9 out of 5. And I think I rate the good, the bad, and the ugly the same score. 4.9 out of 5 for both items. Now that we're finally done, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like button, and you'll see me next time on a very unorganized Jonathan's Epic Food Review. Because this was fun and it was special. Thanks for watching. Thank you for making it this far into the video. Remember to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified for new videos. New pranks uploaded every week. So stay tuned.